whole box of cookies or the whole bag of chips, or you don't even really fully aware of what you're eating. I ask people, what did you eat yesterday? Deer in the headlights. I don't know. I ate good though, I promise. What's good? And then like, it is a struggle to recall what they were eating. So by a show of hands, who in here would say they consider themselves turning to food in high stress or high emotional situations? Raise it high, Sarah. No. And then now thinking about that, when have you turned to food in high stress or emotional times? Has it actually fixed that? When did that cookie make the work project go away, make traffic disappear, or fix whatever emotional stress? Quarantine was a big one. That's an easy example. All the snacks you were eating did not make quarantine go away. But what did it do? It made you more stressed. Because now we're stressed because you're eating. You're like, I shouldn't be eating this. So now we just added stress to our stress because you ate, because you were stressed. Whoa, right? I know. So it's a little revolving door right there. This roots all the way back now to our childhood. Since the time we start eating solid foods, this is a common practice. You can use, like as a toddler example, if you can recall a time that you were crying or you were upset and someone just gave you food to cure your emotions. The little 3-year-old over there crying, here, give them a cookie, they'll stop crying. We didn't solve their problems. They just don't know how to communicate to us at that point. But that's when emotional eating starts. So we struggle with this. It's not your fault you're still struggling with it. It's been a habit since we were kids. But unfortunately, we're adults now, so it's our responsibility to fix the habit and make those changes if you want to have that lifelong diet success. Most diets fail today because we don't fix the root cause of what was happening to get us to that place that we needed to diet or we needed weight loss. Because it didn't just happen, because you were eating healthy, nourished foods in most cases. And so we need to fix whatever that root is. For most people, it's emotional and stress eating. So today we're going to kind of go over those things that we can do in order to be aware of that. First, it's just being aware of it. And that way, when you are in your day-to-day life, this is not a quick fix. I'll tell you that right now. This is fixing emotional and learning how to solve stress without turning to an object like food or something like that. Does that all kind of make sense to everyone? And when I kind of do these, I like them to be pretty big open discussion. So if you have a question in a moment in time, I'll always add time at the end, but just raise that hand up. If you have a question, most likely someone else does too. And so feel free to chime in, or if something doesn't make sense to you or you want me to re-explain something, just kind of let that come in. And all y'all online too, you can type your questions in there, and I'll get my brother to read them out to me. He is over here. So basically, we love the 60-day challenge. We love the 6-week challenge. We love those quick fixes because as humans, we want it right now, and we want it now. We want it the easiest way we can get it. Most of in here, I can tell everyone, just give me 30 days and you can stick to it. But what happens after those 30 days? Regain the weight back because you didn't solve the issue. So we're constantly in a cycle of dieting. If you feel like you've been dieting for years and you're still working towards your goal, we have a problem. That's not how it should be. One, you shouldn't be in a constant state of diet because that's very harmful on your body. Eating less calories than you need to survive is a stressor. So we're stress eating, and then we're adding stress to our bodies by cutting out a bunch of calories, and then we're constantly in a stress zone, and it's actually really hard to lose weight in high stress. Quarantine was definitely not a prime time for most people to be in a calorie deficit, and if you struggle during that time and you're trying to get a calorie deficit, it's probably because your stress was really high, and so we're unable to lose weight as easily in that time. So we have to go down, and this is the thing with working through diets like this. It's not a fad diet, it's not sexy, it's not cool, it's no special cool name like keto or, you know, 60-day diet, paleo, and so nobody wants to do it. But then you sit there and you get frustrated and you're like, I've been dieting for 2 years. It's a really long time, guys. Unless we have like 300 plus pounds to lose, we should be going in phases of dieting and things like that. And so we have to go, the percent is 90% of people that lose a significant amount of weight, so I'd say about 15 pounds or more, regain it all back. 90%. The more you lose, the more likely you are to regain it back. Two things with that, they regain it back faster than they lost it, and they usually, like 95% of those people, regain more back. Yes. And most of that comes down to because you didn't actually solve the reasons that got you there. So we get that to that weight loss. So you're like, yes, I lost 25 pounds. Now you just go back to your normal life. But then we go back to our same old habits. 30 days isn't enough time to fix a habit. 6 weeks isn't enough time to fix habits, especially habits that you've had, probably most of y'all in here, since you were children. And then going into adulthood, and then when you were in school, you ate during finals, when you were stressed for tests, when the work project comes up, especially office places, nurses, like teachers, the food in those offices, oh my God, if I could go in them and throw some stuff away. It's all in that environment, so you don't know, it also is not emotional stress, but it's also celebration. You deserve this cake because you finished that game. You deserve this cake because you got an A. What if we actually put beneficial things to that, that were healthy for us, something you actually really, deserve? And so that's what we want to kind of start thinking about and getting in that mindset of this. Is this food helping me? Do I need this? So I'll tell you right now, you don't need most of the junk food. Everyone thinks they need a donut. No, you want one. We only need 3 basic macronutrients: protein, carbs, and fat, which we'll dive into in a little bit here. And so basically, we first have to understand what food provides for us. So food is calories. Where I'll start. Kind of basic nutrition here. Never hurts to go over again. So food equals calories. Calories are energy. So if you've gotten on our InBody in here and stuff, you've heard your BMR. There is a certain amount of energy that we need just to survive. Alrighty, so your BMR on the InBody and things like that tell you the base amount of calories you need just for your body to keep functioning. If you were to lay in bed all day, completely sedentary, your body still needs energy, which are calories that come from our food, to survive, for your heart to keep functioning and do those jobs. These calories that we eat come from our macronutrients. Which are proteins. Carbs, everyone's favorite, and fats, the one that makes the food taste good. So we need these in varying amounts and quantities depending on your size, your age, your activity level, where you're at in your lifestyle stages and stuff like that. So everyone's going to vary in this. It actually varies day to day, but we don't get that technical in it when we're thinking about the food that we should be eating to get those calories that we need to survive. This is what food is. Protein and carbs will each give us 4 of those calories for every gram of it. Fat is a little bit more dense, and it gives us 9 calories for every gram. And that's why you'll see a lot of like fat servings need to be smaller and stuff like that. And a table of peanut butter is the most sad thing calorie-wise. You're like, that's all I get? And avocado, when I tell people I know, it's crazy. So at the base, this is what we just need to survive. We can get these in different things, obviously, and then we also need micronutrients. But these don't give us calories. These are little, micro and macro. Okay, so these are going to be our vitamins and minerals. So each thing up here has very specific jobs and roles in the body. We need each of them. There's a lot of diets out there that are going to completely cut one out. Keto, no carbs, low fat or no fat. No fat too many without the protein. Protein's very essential and important. And then we have our micronutrients. So this makes up the foods that we need. Now, what everyone's going to love to hear today, though, so we get this from our food. There's no such thing as a good or a bad food. Always music to everyone's ears. There is food that gives us more of this and food that gives us less of it. So I like to compare it like this. And one first tool you can start using as soon as you walk out this door to build that healthy relationship with food, stop looking at food as good or bad. That pizza's bad. Oh, all anti. As soon as you tell yourself or anyone tells you you can't have that, guess what? You want it more now. And that also starts from our childhood. Don't touch that. All right, I'm gonna go touch it. I'm gonna see how much of it I can get of it until I get in trouble for it. So we need to start realizing that there isn't one. So we have our nutrient-dense food, which consists of things like our non-processed stuff, so like our chicken breast, our brown rice, our veggies, things we can see in a lot of volume with the little calories, salads and things like that. There's going to be some processed things that are still very nutrient dense. That's more the easiest way to explain it. And then we have, turning my back to these live cameras, calorie dense. So those are going to be our more processed foods, fast food, like one meal at McDonald's is going to be, about 1,000 calories when we tell people to eat healthy and they're like, I can't eat all this food. I'm like, really? Because you can eat that one meal and it's the same amount of calories for that whole day. So that's a better way to look at it. It doesn't mean these are always bad. There's a time and place for everything. And there's a portion size for everything. One cookie a day isn't bad, but most people can't stop there, or they don't stop there. Can, but it's not clipped in your head, because once you know that food's bad, and you get one, you're like, I better eat as many as possible, because I'm never gonna be able to have these again, or I'm gonna start my next 6 weeks challenge, so I better get all in, because I'm gonna lose it, and we get that mentality when they're still gonna be there. And if we just put it in a little bit of moderation, and every day, if you're a big struggler with this, usually having that one a day will save you binging on boxes and boxes later, and it won't even affect your diet. Because I can compare one small chocolate chip cookie, which would be 100 calories, to then first you're thinking you need to eat like a big bowl of fruit that could be easily 200 or something, and you're like, if you just need that one to stop you on Friday night from eating 1,000 calories of cookies, let's balance that out a little bit. The calories end up working out. So we have nutrient dense versus calorie dense right here. So when we talk about diet and weight loss, I'm going to try to stay a little bit more in diet and general nutrition versus weight loss, but I know weight loss is a bigger thing going on. So at the end of the day, we have our calories. In order to lose weight, you need to eat less calories than you burn. So we need to be in a deficit. In order to maintain, we need to eat right about the same. And then in order to gain, we need to eat more calories than we burn. Your body does it. Except for protein, it doesn't really matter the total, as long as you're in that deficit, we're gonna be there. So that's why I say, if that one cookie a day saves you Everybody wants it. Be like these bikes over here. We say, y'all can't touch the bikes. Everyone's gonna be like, let me get on the bike, coach. Just wait. Alrighty guys, so I handed you all a handout. This is my worksheet. If you're on one of the lives, drop your email in and I will email y'all this handout once we're done. So this is my step-by-step way to work through our cravings. In the beginning, it's very handy to actually sit out there and write those down so you can, eventually the goal is to be able to do this pretty quickly when you're out to eat or you're in the grocery store and not have to think it through so much. Of course, in the beginning, we're trying to change habits. It's going to be a little bit more strenuous and needing to actually go through it. Any questions so far? We need to identify what we're craving. So let's do an example. Someone give me an example. Bread. That was fast. No hesitation. So we are craving bread. Next question we need to ask ourselves, where is this craving coming from? And this will be semi-hard to identify, and it doesn't have to be one solid answer. It may be a plethora of them. So it could be stress, a visual trigger. A visual trigger is going to be really common in office settings or watching TV. That Domino's commercial comes on, you're like, ooh, I want Domino's. Now got the crowd wild. Emotional. So whatever's going on, especially with everything in the world right now, that's going to be a really common one. And you may have to dive in a little deeper to even realize it's emotional. That may be because we like to push that stuff to the side. Boredom. Boredom's also a common one, especially when we are in quarantine. The snacks are just there. Just want to eat them. Don't have anything else to do. Might as well eat. That takes up so much time. A nutrient imbalance. So something like maybe you haven't had any carbs, nutrient dense or calorie carbs in a while. So your body's like, where are these carbs? Like, I need something. And so it's trying to send you signals. Sorry, it's sending the wrong ones though. Social environment, so like a party or something like that. That's a really, that's a big one too, where we get into and you're like, I feel rude if I don't take it, you know, or people are forcing you to. I call those sabotagers that are like, really, you're not gonna eat it? Oh, like, I feel like, really, you're gonna eat it? Like, some different things. I'll touch on the social environment right now. I'm gonna use that one as an example. Good things with social environment, because sometimes, you know, you do just want to be polite. I like the 2-bite rule. So 2 bites of each thing. Someone wants you to try it. 2 bites, 2 normal bites. Don't get crazy with the 2 bites. That's a really good way for them to still, look, okay, you tried it, I'll stop pressuring you. Sometimes you just have to say, and it can be an uncomfortable conversation depending on how close they are to you. They're like, I can't right now, I'm working on my health. Period. End of sentence. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You do not owe a single person an explanation to why you're eating what you're eating, especially healthy, nutrient-dense food. It's a common one. I don't know why it's so taboo. We go out to eat and they're like, that's what you're eating? Yeah. Get over it. It's my body. Everything else, we're like, don't question what I do to my body, and then it comes food and people judge you and things like that. It's just, and I bet you a few times after that, they're gonna say, hey, can you help me? Most people get mad or they get defensive when they're jealous over something. They want to lose weight. Let me preach, Sarah. They want to lose weight, but they don't know how to go about it. one piece of cake won't hurt you, but when you know in your head that's going to be that trigger that sets it off more. Alone, just being able to set your foot down and tell your family, your friends, your coworkers, if you're in an environment where food comes in a lot, I always tell my clients, let your coworkers know. Don't offer it to me if I want some and I have full awareness that I want to eat that and I made it work into my plan that day that I'm gonna eat, I will. I'll help myself. Don't worry about it, but don't offer it to me and don't want that. And just putting that foot down shouldn't take more than 1 or 2 times, depending on how stubborn they are. And then, you know, that's where that comes to. So for bread, let's go stress. Nobody's better be force feeding y'all junk food. You pick your food choices, you put it in your mouth, you chew it. So now we put you in control if you were able to say no. And then of course other. But if we don't indulge, we still need to do some other things here. Alrighty?
have a
Do 10 burpees. Get that heart rate up a little bit. Exercise releases endorphins, and that will help with those cravings a lot. 10-minute walks. Go to the skip super squat for 5 minutes and music meditation. Or any type of meditation. If that's your style, take 5 minutes, put your favorite music in. Relax. That way, it's basically we're trying to distract your mind to forget about it. 12 ounces of cold water usually works, is a really good one as well. Chewing a piece of gum so we still get that chewing sensation. I like that one for the people that are snackers when they're cooking, where you're cooking your kids' meals and then all of a sudden you ate a whole meal before their food's like even done. And that's usually not the food that's on your plan. So chewing a piece of gum, he really likes to eat food and chew gum, which tastes really bad. Usually works really well. And then we have super squats. Super squat. So these are my healthy alternatives to whatever you were craving. Alrighty? So bread specifically, an easy super swap there could be one slice of a high fiber bread. So we're looking for something to keep us full. Or a fiber cracker, those GG crackers. Y'all don't hear me talk about it, but they're really good fiber crackers, just called literally GG crackers. 4 grams of fiber in each one of those. So we're looking for something that we can change it out. We're craving ice cream, maybe the Halo Top ice cream and measuring it out. So just one serving of it, not the whole container. They advertise the whole container a lot. They love to advertise that. Or, what was that? Rebel? Oh, Rebel. Is that good? Rebel ice cream, guys. Things like that. So we're looking for that better alternative, so you still get a little bit something there. Another good thing would be if that craving's really strong, you can have your next meal. Remember, we don't have to be on I eat breakfast at this time, I eat lunch at this time. You may just be hungry. So eat your next meal a little bit early. Nick over there eats every like 2 hours. If you're hungry, go in for that next meal. Eat your veggies first, and then you'll kind of notice if that's really hunger or not. What is that saying? Like, Mom, I want a snack. Oh, there's apples. I don't want that snack. You're not hungry then. No, I am hungry. I just don't want that one. I want ice cream. Are you really hungry? Or are you bored? Or are you stressed? Is there something emotionally going on? You need to just start diving in and focusing on what that is. Another good one here, optimal alternatives I like to use, phone a friend. A friend that will not tell you to eat it. Don't phone that friend. There's plenty of friends out there, and I'm sure everyone here has one. I hope none of you are one. You'll be good, just have it. Huh? There's always, all it takes is one, and then you'll be like, okay. And they're like, Coach, my friend said I could though. What's your friend know? Phone a friend, distract yourself. Get that, just start talking. If you're someone that goes through the drive-thru, get on your phone instead of in your car. And that way you start to not think about it, and before you know it, you're at your destination. A lot of it in the beginning is just finding better things that work for you in your life, that you know that are manageable. At the same time, going down to the here. This is the biggest piece. Where are these coming from? What can I do to fix them? How's everyone thinking? Any questions? Cool. So with that, nothing in nutrition is black and white. This is the most annoying thing about it. It's always a but or a what if, and it's always fluid. Nutrition isn't only about weight loss and being on the next cool diet. It's about health and fueling your body. This food up here, which makes up the calories, that is the energy that we need to survive, it is literally vital to our health and wellness. What you eat will play a role in diet. Just right words in the word, supplement. You want to get the most of it from your nutrient-dense food as you can. So we got to switch our mindset from diet, weight loss, nutrition. No one ever really talks about nutrition unless it's in reference to weight loss. There's a lot of other things that go on with nutrition. It's how we're all sitting here. It's how I am standing here. When you're tired in your workouts, likely the first thing your coach is going to ask, what was the first thing you ate today, or have you ate today? We're always going back to nutrition. Nutrition is vital. You need food. It's needed. So we need to think about when we're going for foods, what's going to benefit us versus what's going to hurt us. Changing our mindset of what food is. Because food is not a problem solver. Food is not an emotional bucket. Food is not a reward. Food is not a trophy. You don't get food prizes for doing something cool. Food is literally the calories, the energy we need to survive. So starting to make little reminders of that to yourself will help a lot. Even if that's writing it out on your fridge. Some things sound silly and dramatic at first, but it's, if you don't have that constant reminder, especially if you're someone that really knows you struggle with this and you have that negative relationship with food, you go from eating only like really healthy stuff and then we binge. There's a balance, guys. We have to find the balance in our lives. None of this I'm saying is that you can never have a treat. Because you can, and it's unrealistic to think you can't. And when we think we can't, like I said, that's when you go and you have a lot of them on that one Saturday and you're like, just completely binge. There's just a little bit every now and then. But being fully aware that you are, just sitting down and say, you know, I had a great week this week. I had a good lunch and breakfast. I want to have a piece of cake for dinner. Cool. It's not gonna hurt you. Consistency is what wins. Just like if you eat one healthy meal, you're not gonna be healthy. But if you consistently eat healthy meals, that's where it starts to pay off. Just like the gym. Coming to one workout isn't gonna make you fit and strong. Y'all gotta come. Oh, darn! I've been doing it wrong. Up my membership, coach. You have to consistently come in. And that's when we start seeing the results. It's the same with nutrition. You have to consistently, you don't have to be perfect. And like, we don't tell y'all need to work out 7 days a week and you need to come to all these classes. It's not more is better. It just needs to be consistent. Consistency will always win. So one bad meal isn't going to make you obese and overweight and make your health plummet to the floor. Just like one good meal isn't going to do the opposite. You're not going to get skinny from one salad. It's just how it works. Sorry with all the realism I'm giving y'all today, guys. Everyone's like, dang. So we got to just start switching that mindset. This is going to be a lot of diving into your own habits and sitting down, using that handout the next time you feel something coming on and really working through it. And working through specifically that stress and the emotional. The other ones are usually pretty obvious with that. But food's not going to solve our problems. Plain and simple. It will not. I will guarantee you it's not going to fix anything. It usually just adds to your stress. But once you can consistently tell yourself that, just like everything else, consistency. Word of the day, guys, consistency. The more you do it, the easier it will get. You're gonna get to a point where you don't need to actually walk through every step on the handout. You can just look at that and say, I don't want that today. I don't even really like cake. Why am I wanting it? You know, why am I craving it? I don't even like that. We've all had those cravings too. Like, it's just because you saw it somewhere or something like that. So definitely don't waste those indulgences on things you don't like. You can tell people, take ownership of your eating habits, put your foot down, object. Alrighty? So we just keep hammering that in. Like I said, write it on your fridge somewhere. Use this handout. If you lose it, I got it on Google Docs. Send me an email. I'll send you another one. I'll send you as many as you need to work through it each day. Well, it's going to be a process. This isn't a quick fix thing, but I guarantee you, if you solve these root problems of what's making you constantly cyclical diet, just like quarantine. Everyone at quarantine 15 or 19 or whatever was the joke of the thing, but it was all because people were bored, people were stressed, and it was a high emotional time. Like, and they were all turning to food. And now what's everyone? Everyone is stressed and emotional because they gained 15 pounds and they don't know what to do anymore. Alright, so we're still in the exact same state of mind. Sweet. All those bags of chips you wasted money on did nothing. We didn't get anywhere. You just plummeted your health in a time that we needed our health to go up. And so, just always go back to that. What is food? Food is calories, which is the energy I need. Food is not a stress relief. Food is not an emotional blanket. And food is not a reward. Food is the energy we need to survive. And that's pretty plain and simple. It seems too simple, too good to be true, but I know it's a hard thing. Set those reminders for yourselves, guys. Write it on the fridge, whatever you need to do to constantly trigger that in your head over and over and over again. But any questions? Bring it. It doesn't even have to be related to mindfulness. Yes, Sarah.
It's not so much a question. I've seen the videos and I've heard you guys talk about alcohol, but I thought it might be helpful to just hear it. Just like, what is that? I'm just drinking it. It's sugar free. Like, what does that actually do for my nutrition, my recovery?
Yeah. You want to take on the alcohol?
No.
Does you absolutely nothing.
So we had a question on alcohol. Can you turn in front of the camera?
Oh, yeah.
So Sarah Murphy wants us to touch on alcohol.
So alcohol is the hidden macronutrient, right? So it does have a specific calorie amount. There'll be a lot to it, right? And it's not going to be 4 or 9. It's going to be 7. Okay. Alcohol does absolutely nothing. It's just empty calories. All it is, right? There's no good micronutrients or macronutrients that come from it. Right? There's no protein, fats, or carbs, right? Technically there's carbs, right? Or fats, it depends on which one you count for. But it does nothing when it comes to repairing and rebuilding your muscle. It actually holds you back. Okay? The worst thing you can possibly do after a workout, doesn't matter how long that period is, within a 24-hour period, an 8-hour period, it's gonna slow down the recovery process. It's gonna inhibit your ability to repair your muscles, right? So all the work you just did of breaking yourself down was basically worthless, right? You're not gonna be able to recover as fast as you should, right? It's going to alter your judgment, right? You're not going to be able to react to the things the way you should be, right? And that doesn't just come out of your system quickly, you know what I mean? But when it comes to alcohol, write that on here. Yeah. So it's one of those things, right? They don't tell you how many calories are in it on the bottom, right? It all goes by alcohol by volume, right? So what is it? Every gram of alcohol is going to count for 7 calories. 7 calories. So if you look at the bottle of the alcohol, right, say it's what? 50 grams. 50 is the alcohol volume, right? Right, so for every drink, we're going to have 50 grams of alcohol, right? Well, now you got to times that by 7. Right, and those are the macronutrients that you're getting out of it. But those don't count towards your carbs, your fats, or your proteins, right? They're not actually benefiting you. They're just empty. They're useless, okay? So basically, when it comes to alcohol, you can have that drink, right? If you want to be an adult, you want to have a glass of wine, a glass of scotch, a glass of tequila, whatever it may be, a beer, or Truly's, whatever it is, right? You need to plan ahead, right? One's going to be fine, but just know if you're going to have that, make sure you're eating plenty of good food, plenty of protein, right, before that process. If you're going straight from working out or straight from training to straight to drinking, well, now that's a problem, right? Our body's not going to recover. And that's the thing that a lot of people do. You see that all the time. People work out and they grab a beer, right? After the workout, they get home, it's hot outside, whatever, they go relax, they have a beer, right? Or they go out to happy hour or whatever it may be. I see it all the time in the, I want to say the fitness community, but I wouldn't consider that part of the fitness community. I see it all over Instagram, all over Facebook. And I even see people work out, and after they do a lift, they take a shot. Like, that's the kind of stuff you see on there. That's crazy. But it does absolutely nothing. Okay?
Yeah, okay, so usually it's like let's use just a Truly for example. It's not the calories in that that's gonna set you back. It's usually the snacks that come along with it, and then loss of sense of judgment, so then all of a sudden we're eating more, that's when it all adds up. But like, so with the alcohol, he was saying, so like a drink that has 100 calories, and you're like, but I got a low carb one. Coach, it only has 2 grams of carbs, but it still has 100 calories.
Where do those carbs come from?
Carbs are 4 calories for every gram, so that's only
8 calories.
8 calories. So I'm missing 92 calories. That's all coming from that alcohol.
Alright, so it's just one of those things they don't have to be upfront with you on those labels, right? It's just one of those things, kind of like supplements. Right? It's not really processed or regulated by the FDA so much. But yeah, judgment is the biggest thing when it comes to alcohol. If you having those 2 drinks or those 3 drinks, you going out to the bar or the club, whatever it may be, leads you to driving through the Whataburger drive-through line afterwards, then we're gonna have problems. Because you didn't just drink 1,000 calories worth of alcohol, but now you had 2,000 calories worth of Whataburger afterwards, right? So the whole week's worth of calorie deficit, it was made up in one evening, right? One night. So,
really fast to get out of that deficit, guys. If we start looking at that.
Yeah, so that's where that whole thing is. All it takes is one bad night to ruin a whole week's worth of progress, right? But any other questions on alcohol?
Can you explain coffee, caffeine?
What about it?
I don't know.
Are you drinking some right now?
Well, no, but I want to, but I don't know what coffee is.
Black coffee.
Black coffee. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, once we start adding all the creams, the sugars, and all that stuff, that's when we start to take something that's beneficial to us, right? There's benefits to caffeine, right? Cafe, right? But once you start getting the mocha loca frappuccinos or whatever y'all call them at Starbucks and throwing whipped cream on top of the sprinkles, then we have problems.
That's no longer coffee, that's a milkshake.
Caffeine? Yeah, so basically what it does is it gives you energy, right? It allows you to push harder, right? In the workouts, you work out at 5 a.m. Having a cup of coffee prior to your workout, that's gonna benefit you, right? That's gonna allow you to kind of wake up and just get your body going more, right? It just gets the heart rate going a little faster, okay? There is such thing as drinking too much caffeine, right? Don't ask me about that. But yeah, there really is no downfall to it unless you're drinking like 3 gallons of it a day, okay? Comes to caffeine, it's one of the only proven supplements to actually work. Keep that in mind. What do you have questions? Like what was the limiting factor when it comes to caffeine? No, it's not bad for you. It's not bad for you. It's good in moderation. Yeah.
And another question, the protein, carbs, and fats. So do all of those work together in your meal? Because sometimes I take my avocado as a snack without
You don't have to have them all together always. Yeah, that's not something you would even have to worry about. The only time that's going to become a factor, so we got asked if you need to have your protein, carbs, and fats all together, is going to be around your workouts. You don't want fats around your workouts. So then you'll just want protein and carbs because fat slows down the digestion process, and so we want that protein and carbs to go back to your muscles quicker. So we're going to want to not have fats there. But other than that, if that's what works for your snack, it's going to be a little bit more filling. The only thing I wouldn't really have high in for snacks is going to be carbs because it's not going to fill you up. You want high fiber, high protein. Yeah.
So post-workout, sometimes I'll have a whole avocado with breakfast. How should you do that?
It depends on how much fat you're having with your other food, right? So when it comes to like workout, pre-workout and post-workout, there's this magical window of gains people refer to. Like, I need to eat this amount of protein as soon as I'm done working out. Well, that's not true, okay? That window is much bigger than people think. Some people think you need to have like, say, a protein shake within 30 minutes. Well, you don't really technically need that according to science, right? That window is probably about 4 hours big around your entire workout, okay? As long as you're having spaced out meals, right? So when it comes to fats and carbs and protein, like you want to limit the fats because it's not a fast acting source of energy, right? When you think of protein, carbs, and fats, these are fuel sources, right? Think of carbs as being a match, right? As soon as you strike it, it's gonna glide up really fast, but it's gonna burn out really quick. So it's a fast source of fuel, right? Think of your fats as a log. It takes a little bit longer to get lit, but once it gets lit, it stays burning for a while, right? So it's gonna be a longer, slower fuel source, right? So it's not gonna go to work for you as quick. And then you got your protein. Think of it as like an iron beam. It takes really long to get lit, but once it's lit, it stays burning for a really long time, right? So you're gonna wanna have that fast fuel source around your workouts. Really get put to work, right? Refill and you'll replenish those glycogen cells, which is what you need, okay? So you don't wanna waste that energy on fats because it's not really gonna go to work for you that quickly. It's gonna take a longer period of time to get going, right? And that's like a whole science in itself when you really break down energy, right? Because everything at the end of the day is carbon molecules, right? The whole circle of life. Plants give us fuel, we give them fuel. Yeah. Any other questions on that?
I like bananas. You always hear like that. Cut that out because of sugar. Then you hear it's good to do before workouts.
So basically within everything, that example, so we got asked about bananas and if they're good, there's sugar, yes. So that goes back to, it always depends, one. And for every study you find that's saying something in nutrition is bad, you're gonna find another one that says it's good. It all depends on you and your body and the amount of calories you need. So bananas are not good. Bananas give us potassium. In general, they're not like an anti-thing, and you should never be afraid of fruit. Fruit is good. Fruit is healthy carbs. It gives us different micronutrients. A lot of them will even give us fiber and things like that, just like everything in moderation. Like if you're eating a whole bundle of banana, that's probably a lot of calories. And so if that is good for you and works with you, that's fine. Some people react to bananas and their stomach can't tolerate them. So for them, bananas are bad. But for the most general population, no fruit should really be looked at as an anti-negative right there.
All fruits and vegetables are good to go.
Fruits and vegetables, eat them up.
Yeah, you gotta think about why you're having that fuel source of that food, right? Like me personally, when I think of food, I don't even think of this food. I don't see burgers, steaks, french fries, and hot dogs. I see protein, carbs, and fats, right? I think about what I'm fixing to do next in the day and what I need to get to do that objective, right? If I'm fixing to work out, I know I need X amount of proteins, X amount of carbs, X amount of fats. But I don't really look at it as being a banana or berries or yogurt. I think about what it's gonna do to my body, and that's how I go about making my decisions, right? And that's just switching the whole mindset. What it comes back to is food equals calories, which equals energy, right? And that's so important. Eventually, ultimately, you wanna get there to a degree, right? Maybe not to the degree I take it, right? I'm a little obsessive with it.
But that's where that mindset comes in.
Yeah, once again, that's mindful eating and nutrition. Like, I'm to the exact extreme, the opposite extreme, right? Everything I do has to be absolutely perfect, or else it'll drive me crazy, right? Everything I eat has to be the exact gram, the exact amount of calories, or else I think I'm not giving it my all, right? When I know it's something I can control personally. Every degree of that I can control, not anyone else. So if I can control it, I'm gonna control it. And that's just how I think about it, okay? But
a lot of those things come up to, and oh man, don't even get me started on social media nutritionists, and most of them, and at the basis, nutrition is very simple. Eat your veggies, eat your fruits, eat lean proteins, and your carbs. But people get more confused, and then it sets your whole mindset into a different thing, like, oh, I heard this fruit is bad, I'm avoiding them. Then, is it really bad for you though? You know, and that one person that said it's bad, it's probably bad for them.
Yeah.
And then they shoot it out like, it's bad for everybody. Nope, just you, bro. You can't have them, I'm gonna have them.
You gotta look, like, are they diabetic? Like, do they need this? Like, there's so many underlying conditions that keep them, they have allergies, all kinds of stuff.
For fruit, for example, that's going to be a really good pre-workout thing. It's not heavy in your stomach. You can still come in here and perform. I know Rebecca likes her banana between just doubling up and stuff like that because it doesn't overfill your stomach and make you get to that puke. Like if you ate rice before your workout, that may not be as comfortable, but a banana, golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like usually pre-workout you want like a fruit, right? It's a faster acting source of carbs, and then post-workout you're gonna want like a combination of starchy carbs and more like sugary carbs like fruit as well. Like just a good mix, good balance, right?
What else, guys? Any other questions? Yes. Yeah. It's gonna so he is on the upside of everyone. He's trying to gain weight. So he's asking if he has a craving, should he just give